bloomed yet. You could see the buds were like ready to go. But I still think I'm a little late. So
Gotcha.
we'll
Well,
I just
I'm glad I
met
went when I
Tim.
did.
Yeah, you were lucky.
Really?
We're live.
There were two other. We're live.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure
What do you
enough.
mean we're live? I didn't start the stream.
Well,
We're on
live.
YouTube live.
It's recording us here in Zoom.
Really? Zoom is Zoom.
Yeah, we're definitely
Wait.
live.
What?
What's up, Johnny Pink?
Yeah.
Yeah, John, you're muted as well.
I'm
I think
not
it
showing.
defaults.
I don't know how that happened. How did that
Ron's
happen?
got it set up so that we're automatically muted, so we don't
I don't know
talk.
how that happened. Let me turn all my shit down. I don't know. I thought I had this all worked out. I played with it all day yesterday, and I found out there's in Zoom there's an app that'll let you. I don't know.
Where's David?
If you had it scheduled on YouTube, doesn't it just automatically start if you don't
It
start
will
it?
automatically start, and I got a link for an automatic start.
But the auto start wasn't supposed to be till 6:15.
Oh,
Oh.
Huh.
Technology, huh?
Used to be a guy at work named Rod, and he got blamed for everything. And so in this situation, I would say this is all Rod's fault.
No, it's all Ron's fault.
No,
I need to
it
do
ain't
some more.
nothing.
I need to do some more practicing. I want to have control over when the live stream started. But anyways, because we had a.
Well, hey everybody.
hey everybody!
Yeah, we should probably start it.
Yeah, we're live on YouTube. Who we missing? We're missing somebody.
Missing David.
Oh, David Sailors. Yeah, see, he won't be here till 6 o'clock. He'll be on time. Yeah, David.
4:05, that makes it 6:05 your time.
Yeah, you're 2 hours. You're 4:05 or
Yep.
4 o'clock now, all right? Yeah,
Yep.
you're 2 hours.
I'm 2 hours
So-
behind you guys.
Yeah. Who's got the Phil, you got the printout? Phil V?
Yeah, I've got the
Okay.
document brought up.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad somebody knows what's going on.
Yeah, really.
It's nothing like an early
I
start.
just show up and smile, and
That's
then
okay.
everybody talks about Nikon.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Nikon, now you brought it up. So I took my my Z50 Mark II and the 500 PF today to Hiawassee, and I also took the Z6ii in a 105, but I didn't use it. I used the 500 PF down there. And when I got there early, there was another photographer there from Georgia, and he was already set up down on that gravel road, and I just kind of went past him. And the indigo buntings were out before the sun come up. But once the sun hit the sunflower field, you could hear them, but you couldn't see them. Okay, they were out there in the field, but they weren't anywhere where you could see them and try to, capture a photograph of them.
When I went
So-
Sunday, I got there about 7:30. The sun was up. I was the only person there. There were only about 3 of them flying around. Fortunately, a couple of them landed close enough for me to get a shot a couple of times. About 3 of them flying around. But
Yeah.
I got done. I said, okay, the activity is dying down. And as I was walking out with my tripod over my shoulder, 2 people were coming in. I was like, oh, they're down there, but you're too late.
Phil, I'm gonna tell you something. Every time I go to Hiawassee, and I've been down there probably 4, 5, 6 times in the last couple of years, I
Yeah.
come home disappointed. I mean, I know the bird and flight stuff is a big thing and all that, but I'm not that kind of person. But when I go down there to do something like sunflowers or whatever, I always come home disappointed with what I got. Now I haven't checked my memory card yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, that's easy to do.
I got a sunflower patch that I can ride my e-bike to right up the road here. That's just now maturing, and they put it out every year, and they put electric fence around it to keep the deer away. And I can go up there and say I was in Hiawassee and you wouldn't know the difference.
That sounds like a video coming out soon then.
Actually, I got an idea for a video, but
All right, Ron. Looks like we've got, I think, 6 people watching. I'm not looking at the chat, but I do see that.
yeah,
looks like there
I
might
got
be...
the chat. I got the chat up here. Let me.
I should hit thumbs up. Oh, we've even got a thumbs up now.
All right.
And
Yeah, I got
Parks is here.
Melissa.
She says
Yeah,
we're live.
Yeah, we're a little. Oh, sorry, Melissa, we're a little early. Yeah.
A little peek behind the curtain.
We had a little snafu.
I think it said on your page, Ron, that it started at 7 Eastern. When I clicked on that link you sent,
I don't know.
that's what the thumbnail said. 7 Eastern.
I'll do better next month. There's Mike Anderson. Mike is a photographer that lives up in Lenore City. I know him. He goes to the Cove a lot. Cade's Cove a
I thought it
lot.
was Spock.
Spock.
Yeah,
Oh,
he says
hello.
he said live long and prosper. I thought he was Spock.
Oh no.
There you go.
All right. Well, maybe David will show up in a little while. You can go, Phil.
Okay, bye.
We're gonna have to change one of y'all's names.
All right, I guess we're ready to get started then, right? Ron, is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
sir.
All right.
Yeah.
So I am Phil Vignola, not Phil Thatch. There's live long and prosper. I'm actually leading the meeting today. This is episode 7, right? 7, Ron, of the Photographers Roundtable.
That's what it says on the screen.
Yes, it's number 7.
All right, we're going to try a new format today, so bear with us. Also, I wanted to make sure that the folks in the chat know that we'll be asking some questions as we go through this. Please feel free to answer the questions. Also, if you have any questions during this entire process, if you want to just prefix that with a Q so we know it's a question, ask us any questions and we'll do our best to answer them in the chat. So Ron is going to be paying attention to the chat. He'll be devoted to that. So please make sure that if you have any questions or you have any comments or anything that you want to say, Ron will be paying attention to the chat. I'm going to start off here. We've got a couple, I think probably we'll just go round robin and we'll start out with channel updates. So I'm going to just go in the order I see folks in Zoom. So we'll start off with Ron, if you don't mind. Do you have anything going on with your channels?
Oh, my channels. Let's see. You mean my YouTube channels?
Yes.
No, my photography channel's hovering around 1,992 subscribers. I'm just waiting for that pushover to 2K. And I'm like Tim. I lose subscribers daily. I gain a few, then I lose a few, then I gain a few. I don't know if it's the algorithm playing with me or just, my most popular videos on the channel, and Phil T will relate to this, are my Sony videos. They have the most views and the most money made. And those were they're almost 2 years old this month. I do have several other videos that are doing pretty well, but I don't have anything new going on my channels. So it is what it is.
You do. You're just about to come to the end of your 10,000 step challenge in July. That's huge.
Oh, well, yeah, that's something else. So, yeah. Okay. On either Friday or Saturday, one of the 2 days, I'm planning on doing a live stream on my All Things Ron channel. And it'll be my first live stream on that channel. Well, I had one before, but nobody showed up. But I plan on doing about an hour with my subscribers. And that is one thing I do want to mention about that channel. That channel there, I feel like that channel there, I am actually developing a following. Okay. I don't get a lot of new subscribers. I'm like at 385. Okay. That was one of the ones that got hacked back in January and lost a lot of traction from that. But now what I get is the same people watching my videos and commenting. There's about, I don't know, 7 or 8 people that comment consistently, which I love. And, so I'm really happy about that because I feel like that's the kind of channel I want. I want authentic community, okay, and that relate to what I'm doing. And, I don't get this bouncing back and forth of subscribers and all that. And that's one thing about that channel. It is on a steady growth going up. When Tim and I did the live stream back in May or June, whenever that was, I was at his house and we did a live stream together. Well, that day, I think it was just from his channel, okay, I gained about 20 or 25 subscribers in one day. And it was because the people were watching the live stream from Tim on his channel, and they found out about me. And now they're following me too. So that was nice. That was a nice
probably the
boost.
25 subscribers I lost.
I said, well, hey, we'll go to Ron. Let's get away from Tim. So anyways, that's what I've got going on. And I'm really happy about the All Things Ron channel. And I've done some changes to it and kind of focus more, trying to find that niche. And I'm not too concerned about niche anymore, but it's about having fun,
The way it should be.
Absolutely.
Phil Thatch, I know you've got plenty of things going on. What's up? What's on tap for you?
Well, usually I'm over a month ahead on my photography channel with 2 videos a week. And right now I'm which that would be 11 or so videos. Right now I'm about 5 videos ahead. I'm struggling to put out content. I've been sick. I had COVID, just all sorts of stuff. And, but I'm still plugging along. Can't keep me down too long. Everything's going to be fine. The sunflowers were blooming when I was there, so I got lucky and went the right day, just 3 days in advance before it was over. I'm goofing around with the OM system stuff again. I got to borrow that camera again, but I only got 2 videos out of it this time before I had to send it back because the first couple of weeks I was sick. So that's how that goes. We went to see Beyonce. Heather loves Beyonce. So we went to see Beyonce at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. And the seat beside me was empty. We get there early because Heather's a little on the handicap side. So it's easier for us to get to our seats when there's nobody around so I can help her. And this lady beside me to the right didn't get there until the first song was already going. And then she proceeded to sneeze on me multiple times during the 3-hour show. And that was on a Sunday. And by Wednesday, I'm starting to get sick. And anyway, Heather found this post on Instagram where somebody had said, whoever went to the Beyonce show with COVID, you shouldn't do that. And people started responding. And several people got COVID on night 3 of Beyonce in Atlanta. And they were all near the area where we were. So it was a super spreader event, as they used to call it back in the 20s, early 2020s. But anyway, so I'm better now. And on the other channel, I haven't made any content lately. I've been doing a bunch of electric vehicle content on the Filmex Videos channel, which has done well. One video has over 10,000 views. And so when we go to Florida in September, we're going to drive the little electric car, and I'm going to document all our stops for charging and all that stuff and make a video. And who knows, maybe it'll get 100 views. Usually if you try to do the same thing again, it fails miserably. But so that's what's going on with my channels. What about you, Phil V?
I'd love to say that I've got something. Actually, I filmed a video this morning. Summertime for me, being primarily a bird photographer, there's not a whole lot that goes on normally, at least for my big year. I'm not really finding a lot of new birds around, but I did film one this morning and I'm going to kind of catch up. So I think I'm at maybe 190 on my big year. So I set a goal of 150, hit that, and I set a stretch of 200. So I'm approaching 200. I'm pretty sure by fall with the warblers coming through, I'll get to 200.
You got the painted bunting 2 years in a row.
I did. And that's so we were talking earlier about the sunflower fields, and I went to sunflower fields with one mission, and that was to get the painted bunting. So we're in Raleigh, North Carolina, and in general, you'll only see those on the coast, on the East Coast. This guy has been here. I think this might be his 3rd or 4th year, and he has become a little showboat. So he's posing and he's flying back and forth, and there are hundreds of photographers there on the weekends, and probably 20 or 30 even on weekdays. So it's been pretty nice, and he's a handsome fellow. So that's been it. So I will include those photos, but I didn't actually film a video when I got the painted because I was with friends, and I don't like filming with friends. But that's it for me on my other channel, the Photo Gear Fun. Phil did lend me a couple lenses, and I actually have a couple videos there that are almost made. So there'll be some stuff on Photo Gear Fun coming out on the Viltrox lenses. No, not Viltrox, Yangyo. So that will probably be maybe next week.
Cool.
Tim, what's going on your channels?
Well, I didn't put out a photography video this week. It's just one of those times when life got in the way and I didn't get out to go do what I needed to do, which is why I'm trying to make up for that now. But it's you know, I'm back to having fun with it where I wasn't having fun with it for a long time. With the Life in Motion Diaries channel, I didn't put out a video today because life happens. But I made one today for Friday at the Cherokee Memorial thing at Blythe Ferry as part of the Trail of Tears. So that'll be on Friday. With the New Retired Me channel, I announced the grant recipients on Tuesday. So we wound up with $1,500 to use for those. And with the way that the people judged everything, I came away actually being able to give out 4 grants instead of 3 because a couple of people didn't request a lot of stuff. So that I've got to get that stuff ordered this week, but that's always fun to kind of see how they start changing their channels after they get the equipment they think they need. And it's one of those things where I keep getting really, really close to a record number of subscribers there, and then 20 or 30 of them go away, and I climb back up again. 20 or 30 of them go away. So, it's but I'm still having fun. I am trying to consider how to rearrange those things maybe at the first of the year. I miss on the New Retired Me channel, I miss doing 2 videos a week. I miss the Tuesday videos because the Thursday videos, they run out of steam in about 3 days. And then I don't have a lot of comments. I don't have a lot of activity. I mean, there's stuff going on in older videos, but when I was doing 2 videos a week, I had a lot more interaction with the people on the channel. So I'm trying to figure out how I can make that happen again, maybe by the first of the year.
Well, it's so cool that you give out those grants and that you get to give out some extras. I'm sure the folks really appreciate that.
Well, and then this year, and that all came through affiliate marketing and things like that, which I'm not doing anymore. So this year I started memberships on the channel. Anybody here watching want to join? They're $1.99 a month, and I get about $1.30 of that, and that all of that is now going toward the grant. I don't keep any of that money. So I have about 20 members so far. I only need like 30 or 35 over the course of a year to pay for the grant. So it's not like I need 500 members, But anyway, we're getting rolled out with that. I've tried a couple of live streams for the members out somewhere where I'm walking or whatever. They've both been massive failures for various reasons. But I think I'm getting that under control now. So
we did do a Zoom call the other day. It worked out pretty well.
we did, yeah. I sent out a notice, a post to just members with a Zoom link. With 20 members, I wasn't expecting many. So we had 4, counting me, counting Ron. There were 2. besides us.
It's two more than I normally get. So,
But
It's
but
a
we
start.
had a
It's a
nice
start.
conversation. It was nice to get to know them. I'd like to get to know people, a little more personably there. So those are things that are kind of going on behind the scenes with the membership on the channel.
Eric, you're next on the list. If anything going on?
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for asking. Channel's doing really well. The last few videos have done really well. Just went over 4,000 subscribers last week
Wow.
and already
Congratulations.
Yeah.
thanks.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. That's when I first started this, I told myself I'd be lucky to ever get 100. So yeah, so pretty pleasantly surprised with how it's going, humbled, to be honest. And but yeah, the last few videos doing really well. It's just doing a lot of Americana, a lot of small town. Was actually went into Chicago last week with my buddy, and we did some a lot of cool street shooting. That video's a ways out. But yeah, I've been bringing my dog with me every once in a while. He gets more comments than I do. People love the dog.
What's the
And
dog's name?
I'll make a note. Get a dog.
yeah.
What's the dog's name? Is it Coop?
Yeah, Cooper. Cooper. I call
Cooper.
him. You can call him Cooper, Coopy, Coop. He'll answer to just about anything. But yeah, so he's ridden with me a couple of times in a couple of videos, and it's turned out pretty well. And um, speaking of Chicago, when I was in Chicago over the weekend, I shot film for the first time in a long time. And one of my members, his name's Joel, he hooked me up with some film and processing, and we were chatting offline one time about he had mentioned that he was getting back into film a little bit. I mean, obviously the trend was kind of going that way. It was getting popular again, and yeah, I told him, yeah, I love to shoot film again. And then out of the blue, he kind of hooked me up with film and processing, and it's taken me forever, embarrassingly, forever to get out and shoot some film. But I got the scans back today, and oh my God, I am hooked. I sent him a note. I said, I am completely addicted now to shooting film. I've got this old camera, this old Minolta SLR I don't know where it's at, but STR 100, something like that. Don't quote me, but and with this old 35 millimeter lens, and it's got this natural vignetting. It's just, oh my God. So the colors and the saturation, and thankfully, believe it or not, I actually exposed 95%, 98% were good exposures. So it's like, holy cow, it's yeah, been forever, but still got it apparently. At least with making a halfway decent exposure. The compositions were pretty good too. I'm happy with it all, but man, shooting film again, that was just amazing. And yeah, that'll come out in the video probably in about 4 weeks or so. So, but yeah, that's it. That's everything going on. Lots of small town stuff. Loving it. Getting ready for fall. Just did sweet corn season here in the Midwest. Ron's got his hand up. It
Yeah,
looks
he's got a
like.
question
Holy
about.
cow! Look at Ron using these the Zoom tools.
Ron, do you want to hold the
So,
question? We'll let Johnny give his update, and then we can get to the question.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
that's all I got. That's all I got. I'll kick it over to John.
Thanks, Eric.
well, first, thanks for letting me join you guys. I really do appreciate it. I was completely shot up, and I figured that I would have enough stuff to edit for a couple of weeks. And as you guys know, my wife is still in the hospital since mid-May.
Oh my
It
God!
Wow.
Oh man.
painful. So the stuff that I'm currently editing is hummingbirds that I shot probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I've got maybe about 10, 20 seconds worth of video edited. That's all I've had time to do. I spend time at work. I spend time with her. I come home, I edit for an hour, go to sleep, and start all over again. I spent a lot of time at the hospital, fell asleep in traffic because I realized that I couldn't do that anymore. So if you have somebody that you really care about after 23, 24 years, even if it's after a little bit of time, please just hold on to them because you don't realize how much they mean to you. Not to be a tree hugger or anything. So my channel is just sitting as it is. I won't have anything out for a while. I just don't have anything and I don't have time for it. So what I had was shot and set up.
We're really glad to see you here with us tonight, John.
Thanks for joining us.
No, thank you guys for having me. Once I leave here, I'm going straight over to the hospital and hang out, and hopefully we get into rehab this week or next week. I'm hoping.
Good. So is things going good? Is things going in the right direction with her now?
Yes, we no longer have a tracheostomy. We no longer have any tubes other than one feeding tube. She can stand and walk for little bits. They're doing a swallow eval tomorrow with contrast, and that's all I can say. I'm hoping, please, I want to be done with this. I want to travel with her and take her to shoot the seals and the eagles and this other stuff.
Well, we're all thinking about you.
Thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it. I'm not doing much with my channel because I answer comments. I don't have time to watch you guys' stuff because I'm not sitting at my computer.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's more important things on the table there.
We'll be here. We'll be here.
Whoever that person is that means something to you that you've spent your whole life with, it's not the same physical relationship that you started with. After a while, it's just that's your person, man. And it's so amazing. So that's my tree hug.
Good advice. Good advice.
I got a question too.
Me
Ron,
first.
Ron raised his hand first.
But I think do you have a question from a viewer, Ron?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Let's do one of the questions from the chat box. Folk Art and Camera, who I've highlighted on my channel before, and if you have never watched this channel, you need to go check him out. I enjoy watching him, and I say him because I don't know his name. He won't say his name, so it's just Folk Art and Camera. Anyways, what he wanted to know was, do any of us know anything about any brands that are coming up with new products this fall? Okay. And it can be, he don't care if he's a Nikon person, but he was just asking about in general camera brands. Does anybody know of anything happening this fall?
Well, that's a great segue, which is going to be our next segment, which is news. I've got a couple items. I know I didn't really send out what I had. I just kind of looked it up. Sorry, I didn't do my research, but there's a couple of things. One that I'm fairly excited about, and it's called Anti-Gravity, which is a 360 drone. I don't know if folks have heard about that. I think it's coming out in August, so it's not technically in the fall, but this is a collaboration with Insta360, and there's not a lot of information out there right now, but it's supposed to be a DJI competitor, but it will have a 360 camera on there, so you don't have to worry about framing and any of the other stuff that you would normally worry about with the drone. So that should be pretty interesting. And then DJI is coming out with a 360 camera as well. I think that will be out tomorrow, I believe. That's what I've heard anyway.
Is that an action camera?
That is basically a competitor to the Insta360 X5, or those 360. Some people are using them as action cameras. I don't think they technically are considered action cameras, the 360 cameras, but DJI supposedly I think comes out tomorrow. So we'll have to watch our YouTube feeds on that one.
You got one, don't you?
I've got the X5, yeah.
Well, you can just hold that camera out and film, and then when you go to edit, you can get shots from all the way around and straight up and straight down, and that's
and you can re-edit that in your system like you would do everything else and just recompose your shots, or do you have to do it on your phone?
You can do it both. So the Insta360 has a PC and Mac companion, but you can do it on your phone as well. And look for, that's interesting, Phil, because I'm going to start using that as my primary camera for my Bull City birding. I didn't do it today. I used my Osmo 3, but I intend on using that. So just to make it so much easier, because I'll be able to kind of show what's going on and then kind of, just focus the viewer's attention where I want it to be. We'll see how it goes. Go ahead.
Are you saying you're replacing your Pocket 3?
I'm going to try that at least for 1 or 2 episodes to see how it goes. But yeah, that's the idea. It's just easier. And there's a pre-capture on there as well. So if I just kind of walk around with pre-capture on and hit it when something happens, it will make it a little bit easier, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah,
that's cool.
And then I'm waiting for Canon to release the rumored R7 Mark II, but we'll see. We'll see if that happens. That's supposed to happen in the fall, I believe, or winter.
I heard something about Nikon supposed to have a video-specific camera or video-centric camera coming soon.
What the Z6ii was that way.
Well, no, I mean, this is more featuring a bunch of the red stuff. Kind of like, what are those video-centric Sonys called that I don't have any of, but you do, Phil?
The FX30 or FX3, FX6.
Yeah, it's like a A6700, but leaning same sensor, but leaning way more towards video than stills.
Yeah, I'm using that for streaming actually. I've got the FX30 for streaming.
Oh, we got a donation from Bass Angler. Awesome.
Awesome.
Appreciate that.
It seemed like there was something else. Oh, OM System, I heard a rumor. It should be coming out with a 70 to 200 2.8, which that doesn't sound like anything. But on an OM System camera, it'd be a 140 to 400 2.8.
That's
kind of cool.
Focal range, great focal range right there. I like your OM stuff that you were shooting with all that, and I wanted to rent that too. After watching your stuff, that looks like a lot of fun.
It's a cool camera. It's a little bit of a learning curve setting it up, but once you get it set up, which honestly I was kind of like, what does this mean for a little bit? But once I got it, man, that thing was awesome. Maybe I'll get one.
So do you have, Phil, do you have more later on news?
Those are the two items that I found.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had another question from Doug Kolb. He wants to know what our go-to flash diffusers are for macro.
I use constant light, so you can't ask me.
Phil Thatch has got that covered.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pull mine out. Phil's got his. Okay. This is a Velo FD 1510, and it goes on my flash gun. Okay, I'll get the flash gun out for you. And that is what I use. Now, I've always been intrigued by Phil's, which he's going to show you in a minute. But you put this on your flash gun like so, and it velcros around it. Okay, and that is my basic diffuser setup right there. There, had to get in front of that camera. So that's what I use when I'm doing close-up macro type work with a flash. And this, like I said, this is a Velo FD 1510. I believe it's about $8 on B&H, or you probably get it on Amazon.
That's a good price.
Phil's turn. I want to hear about his.
Okay, so I either use this, which is an Amazon thing, just you can put in generic macro diffuser, and you
That's
get
what
one
I
of these.
use. That's what I have. I love that thing.
And I lost mine, so I wanted to go out and do macro, so I ordered another one, and then I found it, so now I have two. But anyway, you just stick your lens through here, and put your flash will be here, and you lean it down, but this, there's a lot of light lost. So what really works good, but is a lot more expensive and takes forever to get one.
I have a hook I use with that, Phil, and it directs the light down, and then that softens it out. But I use that same thing, and if I lose it for $6 or whatever it is, who cares?
Right, exactly. So another thing that you can do, although I've never done it, but you can buy a can of Pringles and slide the open Pringles end onto your flash, and then cut it out at the end, and put some paper at the end to where the light reflects its way down the Pringles can tube, and at the end it all comes down onto your insect. But this is the Cygnus Tech diffuser. It's made in Australia, and let's see,
that's the one that's the one you were using on a couple days ago video you did at the flower place.
This guy doesn't have a website. You have to send him a message. You go to his Instagram and just look for Cygnus, which is CYGNUS Tech TECH. Find him, send him a message. He'll ask you what your camera is, what your flash is, what your lens is, and then he'll custom make it to fit your stuff. It comes from Australia, and it takes a long time, and it's way too expensive. I can't remember how much, but it's over $100. But here's how it does it. This little thing magnetically hooks up here, and then this little piece goes around your lens. And then these two little tabs on the back, it comes with this monstrous rubber band that custom says Cygnus Tech Diffuser. And you put these little tabs on the edge of your flash and put this rubber band around it, and it holds it on. And then it comes with it's just a step-up ring is all it is. And you get the step-up ring that's correct to fit your front element on your macro lens. And that keeps this from sliding off the front of your lens because it's a step-up ring and it gets bigger. But anyway, it's the dude has to be making a ton of profit on these. So there's that. But the other thing about it is it's the most beautiful diffused light I've ever seen in macro photography. So, and this is the way it comes in. I just keep it in the box that it was shipped to me in.
Looks pretty compact too.
Yeah, I just keep it and I put it right over here by my lens cabinet. Stays there all winter. And
how much was that?
I want to say 100 and something, but I don't remember exactly. 150 maybe.
That's more than my flash gun.
Yeah, exactly. But you get what you pay for, they say.
So this is my solution here. And this is JJC, I think. JJC, yeah. It's constant light. And for the stuff that I do, this is usually powerful enough, and there's a bunch of different powers to it. And you can just kind of bend these lights to whatever you want. There's a more expensive version. There's a macro photographer who I follow, and I can't remember his name. I believe he's in Canada. And it's like $1,000 for that system. This was $40, and this is on the lowest power light, but it goes up pretty high, and you can it's got a cold shoe mount. You can put it on the camera if you want, or it makes it easy. Like I do a lot of mushroom shooting just to kind of bend the lights to be where you want them to be. And
that's constant power that you're using right there? It
is constant. Yeah. It comes with its own battery. So you can charge it. It charges through USB-C, and then you can, I think there's like 6 different levels of light there.
I've got one that's kind of like that also, it's a ring light that mounts on the front.
Yeah.
It comes with lots of adapters, so it'll fit lots of different things. And the power for it is like some AAAs that sits in your hot shoe. It's not modern like that, so it's not USB-C. I've had it for years. But I mean, and if you're doing mushrooms or something like that, something that you can do a long exposure on, and when I say a long exposure, I mean, a third of a second, a quarter of a second, something that you have time to let plenty of light. But if you're shooting an insect that's probably moving, you need to shoot faster. So a constant.
You have experience with mushrooms, Phil?
Well, I did in my youth.
You can plead the fifth. That's okay.
I never, that wasn't ever my thing. Hallucinogenics were never my thing. No thanks.
Yeah, I was just a straight pot guy.
I like beer and weed.
We've steered this conversation.
This has turned into confessions here. Yeah, we're
well, we're all old enough we can admit to it now.
If you want to know the truth, if I listened to old recordings from my 20s, I could tell this day I was doing speed and this day I was doing cocaine. But that was back in the 80s. It was a completely different time.
It was indeed.
And Rodney says marijuana for the win. Hey, Rodney, I call it Mary J-wana. That's all the questions we had so far from the chat box, Phil.
All right.
Okay, here's my question.
Go ahead, Phil.
I'm interrupting with my question, and it's mainly for Garrick and Johnny Pink, and it is, how far ahead are you guys? Johnny, you're obviously way ahead because you haven't been able to shoot for a while, and you still got videos coming out all the time. And Garrick, it seems like you're pretty far ahead too.
I'll go. I was ahead. I was ahead by probably 3 weeks when I was at the biggest leeway that I was at, but now probably down to like a week. I've got a video coming out this Saturday that's ready. Nature Photo Studios, who's on this call, has been able to see it because they're a member of the channel. So my channel members have already been able to see that one, but it comes out this Saturday. And I've got one other one actually that I just finished earlier today. That's for the Saturday, the following Saturday. So I guess I'm like 2 weeks out right now, which is where I typically am during the summer, because I have more time in my hands. But yeah, that'll fade away as soon as the sun starts going down a little earlier. We'll have less light to get out there, so I'll be scrambling here in the very near future.
And for me, I was trying to stay about 2 weeks ahead, trying to put out two videos a week. But there was one weekend when my wife was in the critical care unit and completely out. So I used that Saturday and I went and shot my favorites, which are the hummingbirds, which is what I've been working on for a while now. And that's when I had time to shoot. I'd go shoot something. I had shot ahead, figuring this was going to be a week or two. And so now I really have nothing else in the queue coming out other than what I'm working on. And it probably won't be out for a couple of weeks because I don't have the time. I'd rather be at the hospital. And so I can't see sitting in the hospital with the laptop trying to do it, watching or talking. It just, let's just put that aside. It's not as important.
Gotcha.
So
Priorities.
That's interesting you said favorites, because we actually do have a theme for today's show, and that is favorites. So Ron, I think you might have a question, but if not, we'll get to that. And I've got some questions that I sent out to the group and we're going to ask them.
I just had one for Double G. You mentioned you scanned that film that you shot. Did you send that away, or did you scan that with something you had, or what?
I sent it away. I have an Epson scanner here that I haven't used very much, but I feel like I will be using it in the not too distant future. But for this, I just mailed the film off to this company. They developed it, scanned it, and emailed me literally, just a couple hours ago with the
how much did it cost? How much did it cost you to have that roll done?
Well, it didn't cost me anything because it was taken care of by my friend. But I think it would have been between like 10 and $15.
That's not bad,
including shipping.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Right in that range.
Since you mentioned film, I just want to also throw out, today is my daughter's 27th birthday. She was just flown she shoots film. She borrows my digital stuff once in a while, but she shoots film. She shot, she was paid to go to and paid to shoot at the Paris fashion show, which I think is pretty cool. She likes shooting film. She prefers film over digital.
Very cool.
Give a shout out to Johnny's daughter. What's her name?
Emma Knowles.
Really cool.
Emma Knowles.
She likes your R3 too, doesn't she?
She does, and that's I emailed her this morning. Happy birthday, baby! I need my camera back. I want to go shoot it. Dad, this client wants me to shoot tethered. Okay, here you go. And but when you're done with it, can I get it back without asking?
Wait, you can't do tethered with film?
Hey, there's a business opportunity. Maybe figure out how to do that.
Hey, why not? We used to be able to plug your cassette player into your CD player. Was it CD player into your cassette player?
Yeah, CD into the cassette. Yeah.
There you go.
Old school stuff.
Yes.
That's back in the 80s.
It was.
I think I probably still have one of those lying around my house somewhere.
How many of you remember how to wind your cassette player on a pencil?
Oh, I've done that.
Yeah.
So I worked in radio, and we actually cut commercials on tape. So that's how long ago I'd actually done that.
Used to edit in the studio, music recording with the razor blade, and you just watch it together. Yeah, mastering that way.
I think that's where the term cutting came from, because you are actually literally cutting.
Yeah.
Cutting and splicing.
Good stuff.
What's next?
What next? So we'll go round robin. I have 3 questions that I sent out, and there's a couple others that I just added tonight, which we can get to. But I think what I'll probably do is just ask the question one question to each person, and we'll go through it and then come back to the next question. So I'll start maybe Phil, I'll start with you and come back to Ron. So what's your favorite type of photography and what draws you to that type of photography?
I like boudoir and
Can't imagine why.
no, I like birds. Birds are my favorite, for sure, by far. I've done lots and lots of different kinds, and bird, I don't know, it just gives me the most satisfaction. Bird photography does, for whatever reason. And I like to do it with this, if that was one of your questions.
That's the next question. You're jumping the shark here. But go ahead, since we're there, well, I'll ask these two questions then. So you just showed your favorite gear. I'm assuming, not knowing really what it is, that's probably like the Z8 and the 600 PF, something like that.
That is exactly what it is. Yeah. Yeah, that is good stuff, man. It's just so good. There should probably be more words to describe it than that, but I don't know, that sums it up the best. It's just
Sex.
good.
And
Sex.
I do have to say, I was really impressed with that. So Phil and I went to Florida. Well, we didn't go together, but we met in Florida, and he used that at Orlando Wetlands and at Gatorland. And I was really impressed with the sharpness, even through YouTube, of the photos that he got. So and I mean, I did see, there's a whole prime versus zoom thing, and I'm a zoom person myself, and maybe we can get to that into a future episode. But there's limitations that I think, Phil, you saw maybe at Gatorland, but other than that, it's a killer combo.
The limitations of a zoom is you are the zoom, and sometimes you just can't back up far enough.
Right.
Ball or portrait.
Yeah, and that was, I think, in Gatorland, maybe, Phil, you hit that more than.
Oh yeah, I definitely had to switch to the 100 to 400 in Gatorland. Because I mean, but in real world situations, you're not 10 feet from the bird.
Right.
Like I never use this in my janky looking back porch blind. I never use it because I'm 10 feet from the bird. This is way too
you're
much
only 10 feet from the birds.
Wait, you're saying Orlando isn't real? I don't believe that.
Orlando, no, I'm saying Gatorland. It's not, normal situations are not that.
Y'all are giving away your secrets.
Yeah, no, we worked hard for those shots. Those were all hard shots, hard earned.
It was hot, wasn't it?
Oh, it was hot.
It's definitely hot.
All right, Tim, how about you? We'll just go with those two. Your favorite type and what draws you to it, and then what's your favorite gear?
Well, I think there was a time when I really wanted to learn how to excel at waterfall photography. And over time, I have had less and less time to actually get to waterfalls to do photography. And so right now, I'd have to say probably I'm having the most fun with the Leica Q2M, shooting black and white, street photography, car photography, other kinds of stuff. When I first got it, Phil Thatch joked with me that I was going to get rid of all my Canon stuff and just go with Leica. And he may be right. I may go solid black and white before it's over.
And boudoir, of course, right? With the Leica, you've got to shoot boudoir. That's a rule, I think.
Do what now?
You got to shoot boudoir with a Leica, right?
Well, yeah, I don't like people that much, so I don't.
That might put a crimp in that plan. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're certainly getting some awesome pictures with that setup.
Yeah,
sure.
Tim just recently came out of his comfort zone in the last couple of months and started including people.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was all done surreptitiously.
All right, Garrick, you're up. Your favorite type?
It's a sliding scale. Right now, it's definitely. Well, I'll say the one constant is anything Americana, anything nostalgic, anything rural. So we'll say small town street. We'll just say street right now, but like I said, it is definitely a sliding scale. I love to shoot sports. I love to shoot portraits. I love to shoot anything meaningful, really. But if I have to narrow it down, if I have to pick one, I'll say street for right now. But next week, if you ask me, it could be different.
And for street, yeah, what gear? Okay.
D850 for sure. And I most often use my 2470 lens. It's a Sigma lens. It's a 2.8. It's old. I actually dropped it last week and it just broke the outer ring. I can no longer put a UV filter on it or anything else for for that matter.
You
But
don't need no you don't need no stinking filters.
well, I like to shoot long exposure every once in a while, and I'm not going to be able to do that, not with that lens anymore. So, but thankfully the D850 was okay, and the lens itself is functionable. It's just cracked the outer piece. But and then what was the third one, Phil?
But it was just what draws you to your favorite type and then the gear.
Oh, what draws me to street? Just well, yeah, just that rural, nostalgic Americana. Just yeah, I when I can get out and just shoot something old and rusty and rickety and that might not be there in a few years.
And so when you say street, maybe you and Tim have different versions of that. And I guess we really maybe to clarify. So for me, street photography usually includes people on the street. Sounds like maybe you're not talking about necessarily including people, but maybe some buildings and some. Is that?
Well, I think Garrick does a lot of people stuff on the street, but I tend to do more architectural.
Yeah.
But there are very few things in life that make me want to grab my camera more than passing something that's just really distressed, like Garrick's talking about.
Yeah.
And I go out driving sometimes just looking for those kinds of things.
Yep. Yep. And my Chicago street photography, 99% of it has people in it. When I'm
almost has to, right?
When I'm in a small town, I would say we'll go the other way. We'll say 10% of my street photography has people in it. So maybe you can't even call it street photography when I'm in a small town, but just looking, like I said, I'm kind of harping on it, but that rural Americana nostalgic, that's my sweet spot.
Johnny, I think we probably all know the answer, but for the benefit of the viewers, what's your favorite type and what gear to use?
My favorite stuff is I'm primarily Canon, and I started with Nikon. I still think the Z8 and the Z9 are fantastic, the PF500, the PF600, but my favorite are hummingbirds, dragonflies, damselflies, anything little, bluebirds. That is my favorite, but I'll shoot any wildlife. I'm a wildlife whore, so to speak. My favorite gear is Canon, just because I really like the autofocus. It works really, really well for me. And it's whatever lens I happen to have or lens and setup I happen to have that day. If you're using a prime and you have really tight on space, I can throw the extenders on there to shorten that minimum focus distance. You lose the infinity, but it allows you to use a prime in a tighter spot, shooting hummingbirds. And whatever I'm using is my favorite gear that day. I like the R3 because of that endless buffer, and you just hold it down and get those in-flight motion shots. I like the R7 because I like the crop. And I like the R5, the original R5. I really like that. And I like the R50 because of the video capability. So whatever I have in my hand is my favorite gear that day.
Great answer. Yeah. All right, Ron, you're up, and then I'll answer.
Photography?
Yeah.
Well, my favorite is probably waterfalls, and that's really what I'm known for. But really, I like to break it down into landscape photography and use waterfalls as a subcategory because I also like to do sunrises and old barns, a lot like Garrick likes to do. I've even salivated about going up and visiting him and going out in the country because I know what those old barns in Illinois are like because I did spend some time there. My favorite gear, obviously, is Nikon. I've been Nikon since 19 75. Started out with film. NIKKOR matte, wasn't Nikon, it was a NIKKOR matte, the same thing. My first digital camera was a D1X back in 2000, and I've had just about every digital camera there. Currently, for landscapes, you can't beat the Z6ii. Okay, I don't think. The Z8 does a really good job, but for weight and running around in waterfalls and rock scrambling, the Z6ii is a little bit more compact. And I was using some different lenses but recently I've really fallen in love with this 24-120. This is a dynamite lens. The only thing I don't like about the 24-120 is it doesn't have VR. I wish it had VR, because then I could slap it on my Z50 Mark II and handhold and not worry about, of course, we never had VR back in the 70s anyways, but even in the early 2000s, we didn't have VR. So those are my favorite genres, and my favorite camera right now is the Z6ii.
All right. And I guess, so my favorite gear, it's a toss-up, but I'm going to answer what my absolute favorite is, and it's the Sony A7CR. And my favorite type of photography is like Phil, bird photography. So I shoot the A7CR not because it's the best camera for bird photography. It's not. The rolling shutter is terrible. The electronic shutter is terrible. For video, it's terrible. I shoot single shot, non-burst, one at a time when I'm shooting my birds. And for that, the 61 megapixel sensor is amazing. I've never seen better shots technically from any sensor than I've seen from that 61 megapixel Sony sensor. So for me, my shots are more about clean, low ISO, and croppability, especially because I like to shoot warblers and smaller birds. So for me, that A7CR is just perfect. Again, it's not, most people wouldn't use that as a birding camera because it's really just not, technically it's not great, especially if you're trying to do, birds in flight, those types of things. With the rolling shutter would just kill you if you didn't use, I don't use electronic shutter. I use the manual shutter. Also, the Sony 200-600 generally I'm using the 1.4 times converter on that. So I'm about 840 millimeters, which does me pretty well. I also shoot the R5. I shot the R5 this morning with the Canon 200-800. But that's, again, I don't know anybody else who shoots the A7CR for birding. I'm not saying I'm the only one, probably not, but I know it's not very popular for birds.
Well, it's the cheapest way to get that sensor,
It is, yeah. And I actually got a good deal on a B&H. It was $500 off as an open box. So, it cost me less than my A7 IV that I've got sitting on the shelf, which I still use, but not for birds.
Yeah. I thought you were bullshitting when you said that you did single shot until I went shooting with you. And I'm over here going, and I hear you go, click, 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 click. And you were getting shot. So I was impressed.
Nobody believes me.
D800 that way, like that, click, click, click. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can be in burst mode on a D800, and it sounds like that because it goes click, clang, click, click, clang, click, click, clang, click, click, clang, click.
So go ahead. I've got a couple more questions, Ron, but did you have one you wanted to?
Yeah, we got a viewer question here real quick. Let's go ahead and answer this. David Skylark, new viewer to the channel.
Okay.
Moisture. He wants to know about moisture control for gear. He's getting ready to go on vacation. I believe he said to Japan. Should he worry about it on vacation or more so for storage? I guess he's talking about storing his gear at any length of time or maybe going on vacation. Back in the day, we used to worry about fungus. So does anybody have any comments about moisture control for your gear when you're traveling or even long-term storage at home?
I'm terrible at that. I mean, I keep my lenses in a case, so there's glass in front of them, but
yeah.
And sometimes if there's the little silica gel that comes in a new product, sometimes I'll throw that in the cabinet over there like it's going to do something. Yeah. After I shoot in the rain, I usually wipe my lens off. Yeah. So there's that.
Well, so I generally keep mine just open in an AC, but if you travel we bought these little absorbent things for our kayaks that you can stick in there, and you can do the same thing. And I can't remember the name of them, but it's not silica, it's something else, but it will actually absorb moisture. So you might throw one of those in your backpack. I'll have to see if I can get the name, Ron. Maybe we can pass it on. But it seems to do a good job in the kayak application. It keeps the moisture out.
Yeah, that was just one question we had right there. You can go ahead.
Okay. So I slipped a couple more in there. So I'll start and I'll answer those. The next couple questions. One is the favorite editing tool, and then we go into favorite camera and lens of all time. So for me, real quickly, Adobe Lightroom. I do use other plugins. I'll use DxO, Pure Raw. I'll use Photo AI, but my primary editing tool is Adobe. As much as I've tried to get away from them, I just find that I can't, and they just continually seem to be getting better and better and providing more value, which I didn't feel like they were before, but they are now. My favorite camera of all time is actually a Nikon D7100, and I've been doing bird photography for a while, and that was my I took so many shots on that thing that it actually died. The shutter actually just gave up. And Ron, you mentioned the 24 to 120. The 24 to 120 F is my favorite lens of all time. I had that on my D610. Phenomenal. And I think the F version has VR, if I remember correctly. So it's an F4 with VR, and it's just that's my favorite lens of all time and the favorite camera on the D7100. So Phil, editing and then your favorite camera and lens of all time.
I use Lightroom. I'm Lightroom Classic for everything. Sometimes if there's something I can't get rid of good enough in Lightroom Classic, I'll toss it over into Photoshop and fix it in there. But it's Lightroom for me. I do that for organizing my files too, because that's kind of what it is, as a file organizer. And I got this new thing that I do this year. I'll import the pictures, and used to I would go through and I would just kind of slowly go through each picture. And if there's a burst, like if you're doing bird photography, there's a burst, so you might have 15 pictures that are similar. Go through, find the one with the best head angle, the best sharpness, the best light. I would edit that, and then I would give it 2 stars. And then I would continue through, and once I got all the way done, I'd have 10 or 15 if it was a good day with 2 stars. And then I would send all those out to the no longer supported Topaz Denoise AI program. And then when they came back denoised and sharpened, I would hit number 6, which gives them red. And those are the ones I present in the videos, the ones that are 2 stars and red. Well, my new thing is I can go through there and tell it to look for files in that area that have no stars and have no color attached to them. And then it shows me all of those. Then I hit Command A, it highlights them all. Then I hit delete, and it deletes every single one of them from the database and from the hard drive. And then all I have left is my 2 stars and my reds. And wow, my hard drive is going to fill up so much slower this year.
I do something very similar.
I'm gonna have to rewind this when it comes out and listen to what he just said exactly.
That's a good system, Phil.
Yeah, it's the same thing I do, Phil, basically.
Yeah. I got to listen to what he just said in detail.
One of the reasons I shoot single shot is because I absolutely hate culling more than anything else. That's my least favorite thing to do. If I come home with 1,000 shots, they're never going to see the light of day. So that's one of the reasons I shoot single. Okay.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, but once you get used to looking at a burst, and you can kind of just look at the thumbnails and tell the head angles that are good. And then once you get a head angle that's good, you click on that one. Oh, that's not quite. Let's look at the next one. Oh, that one's sharp. Boom. You edit that one and you're done with that batch.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'll never do it, but right now I'm sticking.
I don't think you will. You figured out what's working for you, and it works for you, so stick with it.
All right, Tim, how about you editing and then your favorite camera and lens?
Well, I mean, Lightroom. I use some other stuff sometimes, but Lightroom, like Phil was talking about, occasionally I have to go into Photoshop to do something. But I know so little about Photoshop. I know just enough to do 3 or 4 fixes and I'm done. So Lightroom, and as far as a favorite lens of all time, I don't really have one. Maybe the 70 to 200 I used to have. I really like that lens. I really like the 28 to 70 that Phil called the chunk. It was just so dang heavy you couldn't take it anywhere. So Yeah, I've culled all my stuff down now. I have one old camera body. I have the EOS R. I have the 28 to 70 f2.8, and then I have the 24 to 240 f4, and that's it as far as Canon. So I just got rid of everything that I don't need 80% of the time.
And that 24 to 240 is an underrated lens. I use that a lot when I travel.
Yeah.
It's not the sharpest, obviously, it's 24 to 240, but it's still so versatile for travel.
It's a really good lens as long as at 24 millimeter, as long as you're doing a lens adjustment to
Right.
get rid of
Yeah.
all the super vignetting, you're
Right.
good to go.
All right, double G. I think we know the answer. Well, probably do, but for the benefit of the viewers.
So yeah, here's my favorite camera of all time. You believe me? No. This is that Minolta I was talking about earlier. I found it. So yeah, this thing is awesome. But no, my favorite, yeah, Phil, you're right on it. It's the D850 for sure. Best camera I've ever had. Probably I don't know if I should say it's the best camera I ever will have, because eventually you'll have to upgrade to something or whatever, do something different. But editing tool, I kind of cheat. I don't know if this is a legitimate answer. I also use Lightroom and use it 99% of the time. But when I answered this question in the email, I said my feet, because I like to move around. That's probably more composing. You could call it editing, but it's more composition when you're talking about using your feet. But yeah, short answer, Adobe Lightroom. I know about as much as the other guys when it comes to Photoshop. Um, just a few tricks, or just a few things in Photoshop is all I know. But Adobe Lightroom, use it a lot, so doing pretty well with that. And yeah, did I get
Your
them all?
lens, favorite lens of all time.
Oh, 2470. Yeah, 2470. We'll say that.
So the Nikon F 24 to 70, or
No, it's just the Sigma. This is the one that I just
okay.
broke.
Oh,
So yeah,
Time to go shopping.
yeah.
Oh
Sounds
no,
like an
I'll be
excuse to
using
me.
it. I'll use it broken for the next 10 years. You guys, it's the
tape
same
a
lens.
neutral density filter on there.
It's the same lens that I lost the lens hood on like 5 years ago and haven't replaced it. So,
All right. So,
welcome to my world.
so, Johnny, I know you rent a lot of gear, so this could be an interesting answer. But first, we'll start with editing. What's your editing tool, and then what's your favorite camera and lens of all time?
The editing tool that I use is Adobe Lightroom Classic, because if I shoot a burst of hummingbirds, let's say that I have, let's just say 40 in a row, I can paste that same edit to everything and then export it. It works better for me than the other tools. I know about as much Lightroom or excuse me, Photoshop as everybody else, enough to make a few changes or remove the background, and that's about it. Favorite camera of all time is the D800. Favorite lens of all time is this monster 300. Yeah, this thing is old, no VR. It is probably 40 years old. It is heavy, and that is for my Nikon. Current favorite lens is the 100 to 500 from Sony, because of that short minimum focus distance. And I can shoot full macro on the R7, getting close, and it fills the frame, and I get all the detail.
That's the Canon 100 to 500, right? The RFL
Yes.
lens. Yeah, that's a great lens.
Love
Great
that
lens.
lens.
Good
And even
stuff.
with the 1.4 extender on there to get me to 800, which is my favorite focal length long on a full frame, it's just a phenomenal lens. Actually, that puts me at 700, but even still, I love that lens. I think it's phenomenal.
And that 300, is that an F4?
It is.
Yeah.
No,
That was my question.
This
That was
is
my
an
question.
F2.8. Can you guys see
Oh,
that?
2.8. Okay.
That's a D, isn't it?
Is that it? It's an AIS.
Yeah,
I think
it's
it's
an
D.
AFI.
AFI.
And you have
Yeah.
the here for you. This thing is so heavy, it's all glass. So when it focuses, you can feel the torque as the elements move.
So Nikon had a 300 f4 about that age, and I don't know if that's that lens that was non-computerized. And there was a guy, I had one. There was a guy in North Carolina for a little bit of money would computerize it for you. So your camera would work with, of course, it wouldn't work with auto. I don't know if it didn't do autofocus. I'm not sure if it did, but it would do the exposure and the distancing and stuff, and talk to the camera. And I think I had one of those. It was a 300 f4, and it was big. It looked just like that. It was huge.
This one is the 2.8, and again, it's
a 2.8.
Yeah, it's a 2.8, and you have the door here. That it probably still
for the filters,
just for your filters. Yeah, you can adjust your aperture here manually, and
so it's got to have like screwdriver autofocus, I guess.
It must.
Nope, it is all electronic. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's all electronic on the back of that.
Weird.
So it worked sometimes on the Z8 and sometimes on the Z9, and it worked initially and then it stopped. But it works fine on the D800. It still works perfectly.
Huh. Okay.
Incredibly sharp. Just an absolute masterpiece lens.
So you like that better than your Canon 600 f4? Wow.
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
For sharp,
that says something.
Between the two of them, if I could use this exclusively and it gave me everything I wanted, yeah, this thing is the sharpest lens I have ever used, which is why I still have it. Leather cap too. That's my lens. I'll have to take this out with the D800 sometime when I have time
Yeah,
again.
that'll be cool.
Yeah. I like to see you use that.
It lost the foot here, so I've just got, if you can see that, I just have a plate screwed onto it so I can put it onto my gimbal.
That works.
It does. This one is awesome.
I lost track, Ron. Did you answer the editing question and the camera question? Sorry.
No,
okay,
I did not.
I thought not. Just wanted to,
so,
I didn't want to leave you out. Go ahead.
What was the question again?
So what's your favorite editing tool and then your favorite camera and lens of all time?
That's my favorite camera and lens of all time.
I've got one of those.
Which lens though? The wide angle?
I like the 24 millimeter.
All right.
No, I actually my all-time favorite camera and lens was the Nikon D7500 with the 12 to 24 f4 AFS lens, DX lens. I got more landscape keepers in my Lightroom catalog from that rig than anything else I've ever owned. Okay. So as far as,
did you specifically choose DX for a very specific reason, or was it more cost related? I'm curious of why you wouldn't have chosen.
I wasn't full frame until 2000 the first full frame camera I bought was the Z6ii.
Okay.
I was not full frame on the F bodies. So I came up through the ranks, D1X all the way up through the D50s. And I think I did a D100. And then I went to the D3300s, the D5500s, and then jumped to the D7500. Might have been the 71, then the 75. But the 12 to 24 lens I owned way before I bought the D7500. That lens was a nice lens, a nice landscape lens. And like I said, I got more keepers from that than any other lens I've ever owned. As far as photo editing, I started with Photoshop in 2000, and we didn't have Lightroom. We didn't have a whole lot of tools. In fact, Photoshop was not really for the photographer. It was more for graphic artists. And there were a few tools in the Photoshop area that we could use to enhance our photographs, but it really wasn't as powerful as it is now. And one of the things I like about Photoshop now versus Lightroom, and I use Lightroom now too, is in Photoshop, you can do true layering, okay? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll be glad to show you sometime. But I use a lot of add-ons like the Nik collection, On1 plugins, and I like to selectively apply those filters to my images with a brush. Okay, I use an actual tablet and a pen, so I can get real fine detailed in areas I want to either change something or add an effect to, and not use my mouse where I'm all over the place. I like to use a tablet for my stuff.
I actually
Or-
I used the Nick collection for the longest time. And then after Google bought it, I think I didn't renew, and I probably lost track of it. I probably still own a copy back when it was whoever owned it before Google. But there's some good
We have-
plugins there.
We have a Nikon fan in the chat box, the drunk wedding photographer.
How'd they get in
yeah.
here?
Do you know them?
No, it's a Nikon joke, bad one.
Yeah. Nature Photo Studio said, even though I shoot with the Z9 now, the D850 still holds a special place in my heart. I agree with that. Showed me what was possible with a camera and took all my creative ideas and said, I got this. What else you got? In other words, he says the camera does all the work for him. Okay. So,
and I would argue that that's, in my humble opinion, the best DSLR ever made.
You're not going to get the argument from us.
Yeah.
I'm going to go
quite a camera.
I actually made a video about that topic. That's what it was titled, The Last Great DSLR, the Nikon D850.
And so did that become the Z7? Is that kind of, are they roughly equivalent? I'm not much on the Nikon.
well, it's the same. It's the same. It's the same sensor.
Okay.
I think so, isn't it? Same sensor.
Well, it's the same resolution. I don't know if it's the same. It has less dynamic range because it's doing the autofocus on the sensor where the D850 isn't. So similar sensor, but maybe not the same. Same size.
Thanks.
That's way too nerdy for me.
So those were the topics that we had. We could talk about some other things. Ron, how much time do you want to? How much further? How much longer would you like to go?
I give you another 10 minutes or so.
All right. And so, Ron, you asked a couple of other possible questions. I'd like to zoom in on what was letter B. I'm curious to hear folks' thoughts about that, which is using a video head for photography. So if you're going to bring a tripod out for whatever you're, assuming, let's say landscape or whatever the case might be, would you choose a video head or would you say no and just go with the ball head or the gimbal head? I'll start with you, Ron.
So we're talking about a fluid head, video head versus a ball head.
Right.
Well, I'm using a ball head. Okay. I've always used ball heads. I've had different flavors of them. Currently, my favorite one is an Acratech GXP or something. It's like 5 years old. When it gets dirty, I put it under the sink and wash it out. And it's good to, it's an amazing ball head. And the second one I have is a BH55, really right stuff on the big tripod. And I do have a gimbal like Phil, and several other here might have gimbals. Mine's a Movo, what do you call it, $99 eBay knockoff, whatever it is. I don't use that gimbal very much. Phil and I were having a text message thing the other day, and he said he uses his quite a bit. But the fluid heads, the video fluid heads, one of the guys that's on here tonight, Folk Art and Camera, he just had a video he put out the other day about fluid heads. And I was very interested in that because one of the reasons I bought the Z8 and the Z50 Mark II was for its video capability. As we all know, if you have a D500, it doesn't do very well with video, and trying to do it in live view and all that just stinks. Okay. But so that's one of the reasons I did. Well, getting buttery smooth video on a ball head takes a lot of technique and a lot of practice to make it smooth. And I'm just not really good at making that happen. So I've been considering a fluid head. That's one of the reasons I added that to the questions there.
So this is my main travel setup. So this is a Benro S4 on a Suray, or however you want to say that, carbon fiber. So whenever I bring a tripod out, I'm generally doing it for the purposes of video, but since I have it out, I'll use it for photos as well. So if I'm not doing any video at all, I'm just going out to shoot birds, I'll just, carry my A7CR and my lens, and I don't bring any tripod at all. If I know I'm going to be doing video, I'll bring this video head, and that's for kind of travel stuff. I did a couple documentaries on my channel, and I've got a proper studio tripod that I bring for that. Bigger head, bigger legs, kind of like a proper studio. But for the field stuff, I'll use this. And I don't feel like it holds me back. In fact, I feel like for me, since I've gotten used to it, I think this is a little easier to use for a ball head than a ball head for both photos and video. But
I guess everybody else is something else.
Yeah, I was going to say, does anybody else use a video head at all on the tripod? No.
I use a video head for video for the stupid stuff that I use, and I use a video head if I'm using a gimbal that tracks me if I'm doing, the talking and the moving, which is the Hohem. I do want to. I forget who I want now. There's a new one I want to get, just came out. But mostly I'm a ball head if I'm using it with a tripod, and I usually have at least 2 tripods with me.
So that's interesting. So I know Phil and I both have the gear. It's a KNF gear head, which is also on the list. And my frustration with ball heads was that I don't buy the most expensive ball heads. Phil's got, I look at mine sitting right over here, but I don't buy the most expensive ball heads. And it's very frustrating, especially if you've got a heavy, like let's say the R5 and the 2-800, it's a fairly heavy setup and can be front heavy. So the ball heads that I were using just weren't good enough to hold it in place. So you set up your shot and then you'd have that creep. And I think Phil and I both did videos on that KNF gear head. That thing, it's a gear head. It's solid. Wherever you set it, that's where it stays. It's a little more cumbersome. So for me, that's like the midpoint between, a ball head and a fluid head for me personally. If I need something where I know that I'm going to lock off video, I might bring that gear head. It is kind of heavy though. I can't remember how much it weighs, Phil, but it's fairly heavy.
It's too heavy.
Yeah.
But it's awesome. I don't use it for video at all.
Yeah,
you say that gear head is heavy.
Yeah. I mean, just compare. Well, where's a ball head? There's got to be a ball head around here somewhere. Here's one.
Good thing he didn't have his jammy pants on.
It's big. It's cumbersome. It's heavy. But I don't use it for video. This is only for landscape photography or for if I'm going to do one of my pictures, one of my Nick Carver ripoffs, because you can turn this and it'll do this, and turn this and it does this, turn this and it does this, and once you get it, I mean, and you can move it just a micron, and once you get it where you want it, you take your hands off and it stays. Or if you move a ball head, you get it right where you want it, and you say, okay, this is perfect. Lock it down, it drops. Yep. So you have to I'm going to get it too high for where I want it.
Right.
Lock it down and
play the game.
So that's why I love this thing. But I don't use this for video. This is only for stills, for landscape photography.
And I actually found it works really well for macro. So different people shoot macro in different ways, but that's the reason I got. Well, KNF sent it to me, but that's why I chose this one, because I felt it'd be pretty good for macro, and it's really good for macro.
What's something like that go for, Phil? How much would that be?
Just over 100.
Okay,
that's not bad.
No.
This is a solid. I've got a Benro gear head as well, and the Benro came with my setup and it's more expensive, and I like this one more. To me, it works better.
But for video, well, first of all, the only time I even use it, I use
it's 180. It's 188, Garrett.
Is it really?
Oh yeah. Wow.
Oh, that must be
on Amazon. It's 180. It's actually 189 on Amazon.
Well, if you follow the link in the description on my video, there's a coupon code.
That might be because of tariffs, because I could have sworn it was around $100 when I was looking at it.
Everything has gone up because of it.
Maybe you can give your friends over there a call and say, "Hey, hook my buddy Double G up with one of these things."
You could reach out to them. Gary, I'll see if I can get my contact over there. I haven't spoken with her for a while, but if you're interested in reviewing it, I'm sure they'd be happy.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would definitely do it.
Yeah, and I have a gimbal that's very similar to the one that Phil is holding there in his. I keep it on a really big tripod. So if I'm carrying it with a big lens setup, like I would have this 300 on there, it's really heavy. I don't take it for very long, but it works really well.
Don't you use your gimbal when you're doing eagles, don't you, Johnny Pink?
No, I prefer everything handheld, believe it or not. Even the big lenses, I'm just used to.
Wow, okay.
Because of the freedom. If I put it on
Yeah.
there, it's on there for a minute or two, and then I take it off because I don't have the freedom.
Well, what about when you're like on that eagle nest that's on the side of that trail?
That's locked off on a ball head on a small, it's just a smaller
Gotcha.
tripod, but it's locked off, and I've balanced it, and I've moved the legs so that I've got the shot that I want. I get it, and then I move the legs so that everything's fine, and I just let it go.
Gotcha. Well, this thing, I use it for when I'm in my little shaggy looking blind on the back porch. I use this.
That is so cool.
When I go to the Hiwassee Wildlife for birds in flight, I use this. Anytime I'm doing bird photography where I'm not going to be moving around much, like at the Hiwassee Wildlife Refuge Sunday when I was doing indigo buntings on the sunflowers, I just brought this and set up. And if a bird would come and land, I might have to pick it up and move just 2 or 3 feet to frame things up. But usually for bird photography, I'm either walking around with the camera, or if things are going really well, I'm in the car and the camera's on the door sill of the car. That's the way.
Because I've tried doing bird photography with my gimbal head. I've got a decent Benro, and I like Johnny. I can't.
Limiting.
Yeah, it seems to me like there's too many shots that like you said, picking up the tripod, I miss more shots. So there's like the cost benefit to me doesn't seem to work out, but that's probably just because I didn't spend enough time with it. And I've always handhold, and just, that's it. That's my default.
I mean, I can loosen my BH55, which is what I use the most when I got the big lenses, and put my hand and wrap it around the ball itself and control it more precisely than a gimbal. Just set the tension right so you can move really good with it. And the gimbal part, it's always rocking and rolling, going like this and that.
And so I've actually,
I don't have that problem at all.
When I was out this morning, I was using.
I have that problem with the ball head though.
You shoot more than us. You got more practice.
I have the problem with the ball head too. But the Canon R5, and Johnny, you mentioned the Canon R5, and I'm thinking about getting another Canon, either the R7 II if it seems pretty good, or the R5 II. But the original R5, even at 800 millimeters and shooting with the crop at 4K 120, I mean, it's not solid like video. You can tell it's not locked off. But if anybody's seen any of the shorts that I do on my channel, you can tell it's shaking a little bit. But I'm fine with that video at 120 frames per second. You don't get a lot of that shake, and that's what I've been doing for all the shorts that I've done on my Bull City Birding channel have been with that R5 and 2 to 800. No
for
tripod.
The R5 II, I personally had way too much overheating with that.
Oh yeah.
I love the video and what it did with it, but I had too much overheating because it's hot here most of the time when I was shooting it, even in Arizona. And so that's why I went back to the R5. The best camera I've ever used for autofocus is Canon's R1. That was just mind-blowing. Out of everything I've ever rented, I do want to try the Sony A1 II with the 200 to 600 or their other new lens. I want to try that. I just, again, haven't had time to get to it. I will. But the R1, it was, I can't even describe how it was mind-blowing. It really was step above anything I've used.
Yeah, I haven't tried it, but the autofocus on the CR and the A7R5 and the A1 II is Sony's best, and that's for small birds, for what I use it for. I've not seen a camera that's better, but I've never tried the R1. But one of the main reasons I shoot Sony is because of the autofocus. Yeah, and it's sticky.
Well, guys, we've been streaming for 88 minutes, so we're a little bit longer than we usually go. But it's been a good stream, and want to thank everybody in the chat box for their questions tonight and coming along. And we do these about once a month. Recently, it's been on the 4th Thursday of the month, and I have a feeling that's going to continue. It seems to work. 4th Wednesday of the month. I'm sorry, Thursday. What is today? Wednesday. I'm retired. Okay, I don't even know what day of the week it is anymore.
Same here.
I used to go. I could only go out photographing on Saturdays and Sundays. So now every time I go photograph, I think it's Saturday. Okay. But anyways, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight and hanging out with us, and we'll do it again back in August, okay?
Yeah, and Bill, I don't know if you're still on, but if you're from New Hampshire, that's my home state. I just saw that somebody asked Bill about the state, and New Hampshire it's a great place to be from. No, actually, it's a beautiful state.
It's the Garden State.
The live free or die state.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. I'm gonna head off now. I'm gonna actually sign off and head to the hospital. So I will see you guys next week.
Okay.
Thanks for
Okay,
making
thank
Johnny
you.
Pink.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
John.
John.
Really cool to see
See you
you.
guys.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you. I'll see you guys. I'm logging off. I'll see you.
Hang in there just
All
for
right,
a
Johnny.
second. Let me stop the stream. I don't know how it's.